Welcome to the Jaquad Journey, our podcast about leaving the ordinary behind and learning throughout the world.
So we have been doing this now for 10 days. We left the United States 10 days ago, and we have been in Portugal ever since.
Time has just flown by for me.
I agree. And so I counted it up the other day, and in total, including travel days, we will be here for 82 days. So
We're 1/8 through.
we're 1/8 through our journey. So, what has been the most impactful for you over the last 10 days?
Oof. Most impactful. Oh man, probably the mosquitoes.
That's true. I don't know if
So,
everybody can see these, but we have been bitten up severely.
so mosquitoes are no joke in Portugal. I mean, it's not like they're huge, but there's just a parade of them. There's quite a few, and they think we are delicious.
And so the house that we're staying in is lovely. The challenge is that there is no air conditioning, which in a lot of ways hasn't been too much of a
Yeah,
problem
it's perfectly comfortable.
because there's really good airflow when we open up the windows, but there are no screens.
So it's a mosquito buffet as they go through with the airflow for
We're like sort of like foreign delicacy. But we initially opted for keeping all of the windows and doors open at night to keep cool. And so now we didn't have mosquito spray. And now we're like spraying everything, we're spraying ourselves. But I think that Jubilee, we might have to, per the housekeeper, we might need to go to the pharmacia. So
That's the way it goes. Let's see. What about you? What's been most impactful for you besides the mosquitoes?
um, I think that going to the farmer's market was pretty cool.
That was really neat.
So there's Cascais, Cascais, Cascais.
Cascais. Just say it really fast, and then someone who speaks Portuguese for real can tell you how it's actually said, and it doesn't matter. Next time you say it, you're still going to say it wrong. Not a big deal.
But there's a really large farmer's market that's there, and we went last Saturday, and we went and bought a lot of produce, and then Justin made an amazing stir fry that night. But what was kind of cool and sweet was that we were, buying different things from different stands, and Jove had been researching all like unique fruits and vegetables. So our goal was to primarily buy things that we hadn't tried before. And Jove ended up
A melao blanc, which is a white melon, and a frog skin melon. So the frog skin is probably about the size of an average football, and then the white melon was maybe twice that size, small watermelon size.
but really delicious. But when we bought that and we gave him cash euros to purchase it, and then Joe found a couple of more things that he wanted, and so I said, "Oh, go over and he'll weigh them and he'll tell us how much they cost." And the man saw Joe come over with them, and he just patted him on the cheek and he said, "Go, go." And so he gave them to him, which was really sweet. And I think that Joe will remember that kindness,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Well, you can't. I mean, what we've seen here is you can't out nice the Portuguese. I mean, they will repay any kindness you show at least 10 times. I mean, I'm sure there are jerk Portuguese out there too, but we haven't run into those guys. We've run into the people who, when you say thank you or pick up your table and make it easier for the server to bust the table, they come back with the dessert and say, "Hey, we think you should try these. They're delicious." And so that's how we found a Brazilian dessert whose name I don't remember, but it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Uh,
And then the other thing I think that has been cool has been watching you school the kids and seeing you kind of get your feet under you and help them get their feet under them about like how to structure each day and how you're kind of making that evolve to best meet everybody's needs and not spend all day reviewing things. And I know that you're reviewing a lot of things that like what teachers would do with reviewing things from the previous year. So
yeah, so teaching is hard. I've always known teaching is hard. It's even hard when it's your own kids and it's just two of them. So, to all you guys out there who can teach 30 children at once, um, bravo. I mean, I don't care what anyone else says. You are amazing. You are amazing.
Cheers.
If you can tai chi that energy of 30 kids who may or may not have had a good night before, or had a good morning, or had breakfast, or had too much breakfast, or had a
Too
fight
much
with their
breakfast.
brother, or it happens. Maybe they had a fight with their brother or their mother or their father on the way to school. You can
Yeah,
you
there's
can
a lot of
redirect
things that
that
go. There's
energy
lots of things.
and make the kids have a great day and learn something. And it's you're amazing. You're amazing. Your classroom management is the most valuable skill I think teachers can have.
So what are you? So yes, I agree with all of that. So what are you finding? Like, what are you working on with each of the kids?
So we're using Khan Academy for math and reading, the basic math and reading. And then on top of that, I'm doing some reading and discussion on currently Little Prince, which is one of my favorite books. It's a really neat book because it features a classical style of literature. So the word choice and arrangement are sometimes archaic, like aeroplane instead of airplane. But the word, the translation we're reading, word choices are very intentional. They're not necessarily common words, but they are words you should know. And there's enough context around them all that you can figure out what they mean. And if not, we pull up the definition and there's vocabulary. Um, I really enjoy that. As for science, we're just kind of going with whatever the kids are interested in currently. So yesterday, um, Joe saw us lighting the oven or the stove, which is a gas stove with a lighter, and he was wondering how the spark was made from that. And he said, and I said, "How do you think?" And he said, "Well, a battery." And no, there's no batteries in it. There's a rock. He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, there's a spring and a rock and some wires." He says, "How does that work?" I'm like, "Well, guess what today's science lesson is? How does piezoelectricity work?" So he looked it up, and I found out something we didn't know. I thought it was just a piece of quartz, but it's actually a piece of, uh, they call it PZT, and anytime you apply force to it, it generates a spark, like quartz, but apparently it's cheaper and better in lighters. And then Jubilee was looking at a pill bug, and we found out that it has the silliest Latin name I've ever heard for anything, which is Armadillius vulgaris. She can't say that either. So yeah, that's what our science lessons are. How do ships float? Why is there only one fort on the River Taiga at Lisbon? It's because they mounted the cannons low so that they could skip the shots over the water and take the ships out that they needed to at the water line, and they sank immediately. Very effective. They keep finding cannonballs embedded in the other shore, which is half a mile away.
Which we learned because we went on a 4-hour tour
Thank you, Ruben.
with Ruben, and Ruben is now following us on Instagram. So shout out to Ruben, who is very, very knowledgeable, made everything a lot of fun. But we ended up going to the monastery. We ate some delicious
Pastel
pastel
de
de
Belém.
bellum. We learned about how that pastry started, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that the white part of the egg was used as a binding agent, as
For paints and books and pretty much anything you would use glue for, they use the white part of the egg.
and so they needed to figure out what to do with the yolk, and so ta-da,
Yolks on
pastels.
us.
Yolks on us, pastels, and they are delicious. And so we learned the history of that, along with all of the history about the seafaring nation of Portugal.
Yeah, it's really neat.
It was really neat.
We also learned that Portugal doesn't like to staff its fortresses. So the only battle that the Tower of Belém was in, um, it was unstaffed. There was nobody there, so they didn't really do anything. It was later used by Napoleon, and it sank a Portuguese ship when they were coming to take Lisbon back from from Napoleon.
I may have blinked out at that point, but there was a lot of good. There was a lot of other good information, so I'm glad that I heard the other parts.
Well, now you know, and knowing
Now,
is half the battle.
and then we are extremely close to the ocean, which is fantastic. And we are learning a lot about tides because we set up our blanket and our umbrellas, thanks to Roshi and Brian lending those to us. And we have to move our blanket back pretty regularly. And every single day it's been a yellow day, which means that you can get in the ocean, but it's a little bit dangerous, except for today. And today was a red day. And we were watching Jove and we weren't letting him go very deep, but we still had a lifeguard come and talk to us. And basically told us that nobody is allowed in the water at all. And so
you can't touch the water on red flag days.
So that was a little bit challenging, to the point where Jubilee looked at us and said, like, why do you come to the beach if you can't get in the ocean? But we still stayed and we had fun and everybody played in the sand.
What do you think was the funniest thing on the beach today?
I think you should tell everybody.
I think I should tell people? Okay. So,
well, it's not just today. It's like every single day. And Justin is certain that I am choosing locations close to these things.
Jubilee comes up and she says, very seriously, Mom, why doesn't that lady have her top on? It's Europe. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
And what's funny also is, one, nobody cares, and I don't care. Jubilee sees every pair of breasts. Jove sees none of them. He has not noticed any of it. But then also Jove is very selective and very focused. So his focus is playing in the sand and playing in the water. And he doesn't notice anybody around him, to the point where there was a little boy that was obviously wanting to play with him, and he didn't even see the child wanting to play with him. So Jove is
focused,
laser focused on what he's doing.
I don't know where he gets that.
And Jubilee, however, is super judgy and is I feel like that is inappropriate. So yeah, that's kind of funny. What else?
Lessons are going well. I think it's really amazing what we can do when we focus really hard on education.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that it's beautiful here. I don't miss air conditioning. I do miss screens on windows, but yeah, it's really wonderful here.
Going to the grocery store, you've made some friends.
I have made friends. Hey, Louisa.
And Richard at the bakery.
Richard at the bakery. And Joanna and Tiana at the park across the street, who hooked us up with desserts.
And Jubilee has been giving people friendship keychains to hang off of bags or necklaces or whatever. And I think that's it. We've eaten out a lot. We've made food at home a lot. We're enjoying all of the produce. We're enjoying the weather. We're enjoying the people. There are any things that you would suggest for education?
Anything you'd like to see or see us do, or
questions you might
have? No, we're not filming on the beach.
So thank you for coming on this journey with us. Thank you for liking, following, subscribing, whatever all the things are, but mainly that you are our friends.
Because you're part of our journey too.